Hello, I'm here with Peter Edwards, the brain behind the bitRanger, as I understand it. So, yeah, we've seen quite a lot of it already. But could you tell me a little bit more about the background, how you came up with the idea, and how it came to be like this product that we have here now?
Yeah, sure. So this is sort of an ongoing investigation. I was studying at STIM in Amsterdam. That's a studio for electro-instrumental music. So we were looking at sort of the physical interface for electronics, and my studies have been especially about like the physical phenomena of electron flow and how it's an organic process that can be inspiring for artists. So it's not just a force you use to power your computer. It's also something that has its own behavior that you can be inspired by creatively. In the same way that like a painter doesn't just use paint as some generic medium to make pictures happen. They engage with the medium itself. So this is kind of a big an extension of that, is that I'm really looking at how electricity works. And then this specifically, I did a residency at STIM with an artist named Phil Stearns, who's an amazing artist from the US, and he works a lot with CMOS chips and sort of basic mathematical modules that are all analog electronics, but they do math operations. And I was really excited about what he was coming up with and the sort of patterns he was making. And then what we were really looking at is like, how do we take this sort of mathematical, rigid, number-based approach and integrate that into this more organic, flexible, mushy analog electronics approach. And I don't know if your viewers know about the difference. We don't really need to get into that too much, but I just like to see analog as something that's infinitely variable and very organic. You can think about it like the way clouds move or whatever, all of these models around us, while the digital is much more based on math and doing equations of various kinds. So this is really a hybrid between those. So that's sort of on the techie side. But on the sort of personal side, or the like artist side as a musician, I wanted to make an object that I could really take with me and just have experiences in different settings. So I think context is hugely important to the kind of music you make and how it's experienced. I mean, it's wildly important. So by making this portable, the first thing I did is I went to the beach and turned it on, saw what the beach had to offer to that setting. And we really sort of hyped that up with the name and with how we promote it as the Ranger, really referencing the woods in lots of different ways. So, what is this going to do for you in different settings, and how can you relate to it? And then we kind of tried to position it as sort of your little buddy. So the Ranger was kind of a name that was referencing some kind of character, some sort of thing with a personality. And I like the Ranger because he's a righteous little dude, he's, or she, whatever. This person is protecting the woods, helping birds, talking to squirrels and stuff. So, that was kind of how I wanted to think about this. So this is an organism. This has its own particular behavior. It responds to different kinds of stimulus in different ways. And it's an instrument that you collaborate with. So, it has its own personality, I have my own personality, and we sort of join together and make music of some kind. So I don't know if that's really the background. It's a bit of the philosophy, whatever, cool. Where it came from. Yeah. But I'm a lot more interested in that side of it than I am the tech side. So when I talk about this or give talks or whatever, I don't like to get too deep into here are multiplexers and shift registers which create wavetables. I don't think that's, that's just the mechanism that makes it work, which is in itself pretty darn sexy. But I'm a lot more interested in the human experience, how it applies to the application of being creative, of inventing, of discovering things. That's something that a lot of people can share.
Yeah. And during the time that you came up with the idea or developed it further, you moved to Brno as well, as I understand it, right?
Yep. So yeah, I was studying in Holland at STIM, as I said before, and then I finished my studies, hung out there and taught for a while, and then decided to explore more of Europe and met Bastl, and they've got an amazing energy, a real solution-focused, motivation to just make things happen and make really exciting, interesting things happen. So what I've been given with them is this opportunity in this environment to just invent. And, it's a real easy environment to be in, and I can just put all of my energy into making ideas, really bizarre, fringe ideas like this, possible, because we're not going to sell 100,000 of these. Like, I can't pitch this to Korg,
Sure.
you know, like.
Yeah.
So, but this is a group of people where I can really present something challenging, and they'll go, you know, they'll back it up, and we can do it as well as we can, make it be as good as it can be.
Okay.
So,
And now that this is done, I mean, I've seen they have like the first kind of expansion here, or the first 2 expansions. Are you gonna just do more expansion for that, or do you have something else on the radar for
there's
the
a lot of stuff on the radar. I mean, expansion is a really important side of this scene of modular synthesis and the Eurorack scene especially. This is obviously not a Eurorack module, but it's very much part of this scene, and I like to think it utilizes the strengths of that scene. It has various kinds of interface ability. But the idea of expansion is exciting, you know, that it can grow, that it can become something else. So we're developing more of these add-ons, as well as a family of products that kind of have the same philosophy as the bitRanger.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that
Thank you.
information. And yeah, let's have some fun tonight at the other performances.
It'll be really nice. Lots of good performance tonight.
Awesome.
So.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.